Old gun guy here. Today's video is kind of a part two. I'm going to test some 9mm defensive loads out of a short-barreled 9mm, 3.1-inch barreled semi-auto pistol. This Kel Tec PF9. There's a separate video I did on the pistol since I was testing the ammo in it. But it has basically the same barrel length as the modern subcompacts. SIG 365, Glock 43, the Ruger's little compact one, the Smith & Wesson Shield. For the semi-auto pistol, the chamber is integral to the barrel. So the barrel is 3.1 inches. The cartridge case, the 9mm, takes up 3/4 of that, 3/4 of an inch of the 3.1 inches of barrel. So basically, you're accelerating the projectile in 2 1/3 inches of barrel. That's where you get your velocities from. In the Kel Tec video, I tested just the ammo I currently carry in it. In the PF9, it's 115 grain, standard pressure, Hornady Critical Defense with the 115 grain FTX projectile, which is a it's a hollow point basically filled with a polymer core. I don't know if it shows up like that. The camera, got a little rubber tip or polymer inside the hollow point. And the purpose in that, in theory, is to keep debris from clogging the hollow point up and causing it not to expand and become a full metal jacket projectile. So that's the theory behind that over a conventional hollow point. Since I already tested that, it's going to be in the other video that'll be coming out. I'd like to try some of this Hornady Critical Duty. Same projectile, but heavier. 135 grain FTX projectile. Yeah, Critical Duty. That was the plus P version. I'm not going to test that out. This is the standard pressure version. That's what I'm going to try out in this little pistol. This little pistol's rated for plus P, but it ain't worth the extra muzzle blast. 135 grain flex lock. Hornady Critical Duty. It runs about $32, $33 a box, so $1.50 a shot or more. I have some Remington I'm going to try out. Heavy for caliber. The 9mm for decades, the standard projectile weight was 115 grains. Recently, in the last 10-15 years, it's migrated up to like 124 grains as the median. But this is a 147 grain projectile, and that's heavy for caliber bullet weight for the 9mm. Obviously, any of the heavy bullet loadings are subsonic in their velocity, but out of short barrels, it's even more pronounced. The cheapest or least expensive defensive ammo I have here, I got 2 different versions of Winchester Silvertip jacketed hollow point, silver colored projectiles. I think the jacket's aluminum, but I'm unsure. But I have the 115 grain version and the heavy 147 grain jacketed hollow point version, and that's what I'm going to test today in the pistols. Since I shoot this over a couple different days, these segments are edited together. So if you see me mention at the end of one segment, I'm going to test this ammo next, and it's out of sequence, that's why. It was just my editing. And the weather's been kind of crappy out. Rain, hot. All I'm going to do in this video is the chronograph for each ammo and the thermal effects test, which is a 6-inch deep 1 gallon milk jug, water jug. I'm going to put 4 layers of denim in front of it. It's followed by a 3/4 inch piece of plywood board, similar heavy bone, followed by a water jug, witness board, water jug, on and on. Most defensive handgun loads won't really go between beyond 2 water jugs and punching through the plywood. So we'll see how this stacks up. For this video, I'm going to do a little less sequence. I'm going to do chronograph of 1 ammo and then its terminal effect test, and chronograph of the next ammo and another terminal effects test, on and on, the 4 ammunitions. And then I'll come back in the summary to go over the results. And with that, we'll get to the shooting part. At the chronograph here for the 135 grain Critical Duty ammunition, 9mm. It's got a 135 grain FTX projectile. I'm going to try 2 shots through the chronograph. I'll zoom in on the chronograph. I'll call them out also. 998. And because the first one didn't record, I gotta shoot another one. All right. 997, that's pretty consistent. Okay, on to the next ammo. Okay, I'm at my terminal effects target for the first up. It's a 135 grain Hornady Critical Defense FTX projectile, Critical Duty, I'm sorry. I guess marketed for law enforcement. It says 980 on the box, no, muzzle, 1010. That's what it looks like. It's a polymer tipped hollow point. And 1 shot, 4 layers of denim, 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, simulating a heavy bone, another water jug, just a piece of thin hardboard as a witness board if it should go through the second water jug, 3rd water jug, 4th water jug, and a piece of plywood as the backstop there. I don't think more than 3 water jugs any of these rounds will go through, but we shall see. The 115 grain version of this, the Critical Defense that I was carrying this gun, had marginal performance in my opinion, borderline. So I'm going to see if the heavier bullet version does better. Put my ears on, we'll take the shot. I'll zoom the camera in. Okay. And there we go. Okay, let me zoom this out. Let me clean this up and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Much better performance. There's the first jug, blew it up pretty good. Entered about there, in the middle of the label. Blew out the whole back. Clean through the plywood. Nice result. That's effective in my opinion. And blew into the second jug. Entered, no exit. So basically 12 inches of water. It didn't even dimple the board in the back, but that's okay. Blew a whole bunch of plywood into that water jug and recovered the projectile, 135 grain FTX. It cycles fine in this little gun. I may be switching to this, but we'll see. I'll see how the Remington performs. That'll be up next. 147 grain jacketed hollow point. High terminal performance it's called. So let me set this up and we'll do the Remington. Okay, next up, Winchester Silvertip, 147 grain Silvertip, defense jacketed hollow point. These are some of the least expensive defensive ammo that was available. About $22 a box. Let me zoom in, take the shots. I'll call them out in case they're not visible. .957. Try one more. .958. That's pretty consistent. And that was the 147 Winchester Silvertip. Okay, at the terminal effects target, we're going to test heavy for caliber bullet loading Winchester 9mm Silvertip, hollow point, 147 grain. It looks like that. It's got like an aluminum jacket on it. It's silver in color. We'll see how this performs. 4 layers of denim, 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, second jug full of water, a witness board, and third jug full of water, another piece of plywood. So hopefully we capture the projectile and see how it performs. Let me put my ears on and take the shot. Oh. Gotta zoom the camera in. All right, that should do it. Okay. Okay, zoom it out. Let me clean it up and I'll get back. Okay, the 147 Silvertip blew up the jug pretty good. It entered here, the plywood. It did not make it out. Kind of like the 115 Critical Defense. But it hit with enough force to split the second jug, but there's no bullet in here. The bullet's in the plywood. A so-so result. I gotta dig the projectile out, but I'm gonna set up the next test with the Remington 148 grain high terminal performance jacketed hollow point. That'll be the next test. Okay, at the chrono, gonna do 2 shots of the first ammo here. Winchester 115 grain defense jacketed hollow point. It's a Silvertip. 2 shots out of the Kel Tec PF9. I'll zoom in on the chrono. And I'll call the shots out in case they're not visible in the sunlight here. 11:10. $11.30, and that will be the Silvertip. Okay, back for the Silvertip test. This is the least expensive of the defensive ammo. This is $20 a box. It's 115 grain jacketed hollow point, Defense JHP. That's what it looks like. It's got like an aluminum jacket over the lead. The hollow point, 115 grain, so this is the lightest of the bunch. 1 shot, same test. I got a water jug, denim, 4 layers of denim, water jug, 3/4 inch piece of ply. This is the same piece of ply I shot, but I reversed it, so it's in the middle. It should go through the center in a different direction than the other 2 shots. The
second water jug. I put a piece of plywood right behind it in an attempt to capture the projectile, and that's all I got left. So this will be the final test. Put my ears on, and we'll take the shot. I'll zoom the camera in. Right. Okay, put my ears on, and we'll get to it. Okay, I'm just gonna flip this around, zoom it back out. No capture of the projectile. Blew up the first water jug. Put a good sized dent in it. And everything else is fine. Everything else survives. So, of the three I've shot here today, the 135 Hornady Critical Defense, superior performance. The 147 grain Remington jacketed hollow point, superior performance. The 115 grain Hornady FTX, which I did in the Kel Tec video, it had the same basic performance as this. Put a little dent in the plywood, one jug. So marginal performance at best. These little guns, penetration trumps everything. Penetration into the boiler works. That's the only way you have a chance of affecting a physiological stop if you're in that extreme. So we'll take it back for the summary. Okay, next up, it's going to be the Remington green and yellow box, high terminal performance, 147 grain, standard pressure, jacketed hollow point. Shot one, 894, 902. Okay, that's running. Next up is going to be this Remington. It's got a brass jacketed hollow point. High terminal performance is advertised as. It's 147 grain jacketed hollow point. That's what it looks like. 147 is heavy for caliber for the 9mm. The standard for 9mm forever was 115, and later it's crept up to the 124 grain. This is 147. We'll see how this does against the terminal effect target. Same thing. Some denim, 4 layers, water jug, 3/4 inch piece of plywood. It's all the same piece of plywood. I just flipped it upside down. There's a nice clean spot there. Water jug, witness board, water jug, and a piece of plywood. Hopefully we capture the projectile. Put my ears on and take the shot. Okay. And let me clean that up and we'll go over. Okay, I'm back. I cleaned the mess up. I just realized I didn't zoom the camera in for the shot. So I may repeat this shot just because it intrigues me. First jug, penetrated and split it, didn't blow it apart much. Went clean through the plywood. Went clean through, even though you can't see it with the folded up wood. Went through the witness board there. Went into this jug here. And something exited the second jug. There's no projectile in this jug. Third jug had a hole in it and split here. So the projectile did pop out of here. It did not hit the plywood though, and I cannot find it. So I'm going to get a couple more water jugs and repeat this with the 147 grain Remington. Okay, I'm back. I set it, the terminal effects target back up again. Denim, water jug, new piece of plywood. It's only been shot once. Clean witness board. Well, it's got one hole in the top, but the rest of it's clean. A water jug, 3 water jugs, and a piece of plywood. This will be the third time I'm doing a test with this ammo. Did not capture a projectile the first 2 times. Don't know where it went. Curious to see if the hollow nose plugged up and acted more like a full metal jacket round, because it did penetrate pretty good. So we'll try and capture the projectile this time. I'm going to zoom the camera in this time because I forgot. And then I'll put my ears on, we'll take the shot. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Zoom it out. Again, no projectile. It blew completely through the plywood, and let's see, right there, in and out. It veered, went into the jug. It looks like I left a piece of jacket stuck in the jug. And kind of glancing, it started deflecting, and then went through the witness board pretty clean. Didn't hit the jug, but it did hit this piece of plywood. Put a little tiny dent in it. So I got 2 water jugs and a half. I'm going to try this one more time. Piece of plywood. But I was walking and looking intensely around the table here. I found 2 of the Remington projectiles on the ground, and they did exactly what I suspected due to the penetration. I'll cover it in the summary, but these are both of them. There's one. It was plugged up. There's denim underneath that piece of wood, but even with the water, it never expanded before it hit the wood. So basically, it's a full metal jacket projectile. That's why you get that penetration of 3 jugs. And it's strange. The back end of the core is all bulged out, rounded. That's not how it looks when it's fired. And the second one, the same thing. Nose collapsed. I guess it get filled with material from the denim and just collapsed. And same thing, bulged the base. So I would not recommend that load. You're better off, if you want to do that, you carry just range FMJ ammo. The 115 grain Silvertip exploded and just put a little tiny dent in the plywood. There was any fragments left, so I couldn't recover any bullets with that. The 147, I got to dig out of the piece of plywood. The 147 Silvertip, acceptable performance. Like the 115 Critical Defense, almost made it all the way through and stuck in the plywood. The best load I've tested, and I'm going to switch to, is the 135 Critical Defense. Expanded nicely, punched clean through the plywood, was in the second jug. So a good combination of penetration and expansion in a small short barreled 9mm. I'll cover that in the summary, and I'll go over all the projectiles I recovered. And the summary will be next.
Okay, I'm back. For our shooting results, it was quite interesting. I tried the 4 ammunitions, the Winchester Silvertip, the 115 grain. This is a 147 grain. They both look the same. You can't tell it externally, from it's a silver-colored projectile jacketed hollow point. Remington 147 grain, high terminal performance, jacketed hollow point, and that was actually disappointing. And the 135 Hornady Critical Duty, 135 Flex Lock, $33 a box. So it's the downside of any kind of premium defensive ammo. It's going to cost you a few bucks. You need to buy a few boxes to make sure the cycle's in your pistol. No hiccups at all in this little firearm. Even when I was doing the demonstration of it in the separate video, I was shooting a Russian Tula and some Fiocchi range ammo and some of the defensive loads. And that's been my experience with it. Velocity-wise, we'll go to velocity. The 115 grain Winchester Silvertip, the velocity averaged 1,120 feet a second and 320 energy foot-pounds. It's good performance at a little short barrel. The 147 grain jacketed hollow point Winchester Silvertip, the velocity was 958 feet a second average, and the energy was 300 energy foot-pounds. That'll be second row down. The third ammo, the 147 grain jacketed hollow point Remington high terminal performance. It's like a brass-colored jacketed hollow point. Velocity was 898 feet a second and 263 energy foot-pounds. And last up, the Hornady Critical Defense FTX, 135 grain FTX projectile, standard pressure loading. None of these are plus P, these ammunitions. The velocity was 998, almost 1,000 feet per second, and the energy was 299. Did the terminal effects test through the plywood. I recovered the projectiles. I was able to recover the two of the Remington projectiles. I actually did a third test off camera, and I never recovered that one. And the results were saying just over penetration. I think I'll cover the Remington because it's kind of germane to the discussion on hollow points. This is one of the Remington projectiles that were recovered. Never opened up. The nose collapsed and basically acted like a full metal jacket projectile. If you look close in there, you can't see it on the camera, but I can see it with the light. There's, denim packed in there, and it caused the failure. I thought these bullets, these projectiles, bulge, because I've never hand loaded 147 grain 9mm, always 124 or 115. But that looks to be a design feature of the projectile. I guess to get the weight in there, they intrude into the powder space in the case with this rounded out feature. The other projectile, they were laying within 3 feet of the little shooting table there, the little test table. There's a
chunk of plywood in there. There's also denim in there. I don't know if that'll show up. But completely undeformed. You could load this into a case and fire it again. So if you're going to carry ammo like that, you might as well just carry regular one full metal jacket if you want serious penetration. You want to compromise between the two. The 115 Silvertip, all I found was fragments, little silver fragments, some on the table. I found no bullet. It blew the jug up and I guess come apart. Put a little dimple on the plywood. That was all it did. That's kind of like not the best performance for my opinion. You know, you may have another opinion, but that's my opinion. The 147 grain Silvertip busted the it's this one here, the plywood after going through the jug, and I thought it was stuck. The projectile was stuck in there. Only the jacket was stuck in there. It came apart, and a chunk of the lead came out and creased one of them, one of the other jugs there, and damaged it. But when I dug all I could dig out of the plywood was a jacket. The lead core flew out of the jacket and exited the board, so that's acceptable performance. It punched through the plywood, and you know, it had a good effect in my opinion. So that wasn't as bad as the 115. The 140, the 135. Let's go through this here. 147 Silvertip. These two shots here, 1, 2, both the 147 grain Remington, punched clean through the wood and through. Each emptied 2 more jugs of water. They deviated off the flight path and they landed on the ground. One struck the plywood behind, put a little dent in it, the second piece of plywood. But that's what you expect out of non-expanding full metal jacket projectiles. The Hornady Critical Defense, the 135 grain, it punched through. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Right there. That one, that was the critical defense hit. Clean through, blew out the back. Went into the jug, expanded nicely. I measured it with the calipers, expanded just about 46 caliber from 35 caliber, because that's what 9mm is. It retained the weight, in here somewhere. Almost all. It lost like 2 grains of weight. Yes, 131.8 grains out of 135. So it's like 98% or 97% of the retained weight. That's very good. The Remington projectiles actually each gained a half a grain, I guess, from wood fiber and denim, the 147s. So based on my little test there, I'm going to load my little Kel Tec here with the 135s, Critical Defense Hornady. That flex tip projectile seems to do a good job against getting clogged up or, you know, causing failures of the hollow points to perform. This ain't the only hollow point I've shot through that test medium that has happened to. It actually happened in a 45 caliber one with a big hollow nose. Just filled up, didn't expand. The ammunitions are expensive, but you're gonna have to fire a couple boxes at least. Make sure they cycle through the firearm you're going to carry. That's the downside of any of these high-end defensive ammo. The Winchester is the least expensive, and if you're worried about price, I guess I would go with the 147 jacket at hollow point. That's the only 4 I had on hand, you know, locally available. I had the Critical Duty because I actually tried to box this out, my Glock 19, and I liked it. But with that, that's for a buddy of mine who's going to carry a Smith & Wesson shield. Since I don't carry a 2-inch 38, and he does, I did the 2 tests. But I was curious myself with the little short barrel gun, how it would perform. You know, bullets do strange things. But that's going to be it for this video. This is Old Gun Guy. If you like this video or like the content, just like and subscribe and share or whatever. Comment, and have a good afternoon.